Block. This is, recording in progress.
There we
This
go.
is the Tuesday, April 6th, 2024 meeting of the Fire Adapted Community Committee. It is now 9 a.m. and let's rise to repeat the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Mike,
Here.
Dave,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
Don,
Here.
Ray, not here, Vicky, here, Mark.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, let's introduce or have the guests introduce themselves briefly. On the Zoom call, we have Naomi Engelman. Naomi,
Hi, good morning, everybody. I was at your last meeting. Hopefully I got to meet most of you. I am a community navigator with the Forest Stewards Guild, which is offering free technical assistance to you guys for evaluating and submitting a proposal for the Wood Innovations Grant that we will be talking about again today. And we heard from Grace Sorensen at the last meeting, who gave an introduction about the different funding opportunities that are currently available. And we've narrowed it down to this Wood Innovations Grant. And hopefully you guys have seen the updated one pager that we discussed with a smaller group, including the village manager and mayor yesterday.
okay, we'll be covering that in the agenda. Anyone, who else? I saw some faces there in the audience.
Charles Fiedler.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Charles Fiedler.
Yes.
okay.
Thank you for being here, Charles. Josh?
Josh Candelaria. You ready for the update?
No.
No.
No, we'll cover that in a bit.
Okay.
And
And Jason Vance, fire chief.
Okay, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And then we have Rocky Lira, who is a grant manager, running the show. Okay. So I want to ask for an approval of the agenda or any changes to vote on.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second. Then we have something to add?
Yes,
Could we add something to the agenda, please? I wanted to add approval of the minutes from the work session on July 30. So,
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So
it
we
works.
have on the agenda any comments or questions for committee or audience, certainly separate from things that are on the agenda.
Mike, do we need to do approval of minutes before we move to the
Okay,
agenda?
approval of minutes. So could somebody make a motion to
I make a motion to
approve the
approve the minutes of July 2nd, 2024.
I made one small, error change to it. It's just at the bottom, a correction from PM to AM when the meeting was, dismissed. And, but I'll second it with the changes.
Okay, thank you so much, Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
And then the
Okay,
next
let's get into old business.
slide, could we also approve the minutes from the July 30?
Okay. Second,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from July 30th.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, getting into old business. We have a representative from the Wildfire Committee on the slash report for the month of July. Josh, is that you?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mike?
Aye.
So for the month of July, Slash Department took approximately 1,575 cubic yards. With the help of Wildland Department, we've been able to eliminate all of it with the help of pile burns and using our ACI curtain burner. We've been able to pick up approximately 100 cubic yards of new and old slash this month. Was a little slow because my truck broke down at the beginning of the month, so we took possession of the other slash truck yesterday, so I'll be out picking up all the previous stuff that's been put out on our list and stuff.
Are they both running now?
No, so I still have the one down, but one's better than none.
That's right.
We are also able to donate roughly cubic 50 yards of wood chips to the people, community, as well as local contractors. And we've been able to work about 1,800 cubic yards of our backlog. From slash
nice.
How much?
previous years, 1,800,
Wow.
yeah.
Chipping away at it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Josh.
No problem.
Next agenda item is, one has been on our discussion.
Mike, hang on.
Do you have a driver, full-time driver now for the slash truck?
So I was able to hire a labor to help me take intake and stuff at Fire Station 3. So now I can focus my time on picking up all slash that has been put out for the new slash plus prior years that has been out there sitting for a while. So my goal is to have it done within 2-3 months, all of it, but work with me. It's a work in progress, so
All right.
Thank you, Josh.
no problem.
Awesome.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions for Josh? Okay, next agenda item. Oh,
Second, Mike.
sorry. Go ahead.
If I can add that, there was a comment made last week about potentially trying to make sure that we handle it along the UPS driver, and when we see slash piles en route and stuff like that, I just want to ensure the committee that we are doing exactly that. As we're going along to the requested pile burns and we see slash piles that we can pick up along the route. If we're able to fit them in the truck, we are stopping alongside and picking those up as we go along. But again, please give us some grace in allowing us to catch up with the backlog.
All right.
That's a great
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If I could interject a question real quickly,
Go ahead.
my apologies for not being there in person. I am coming down with a summer cold. It's my understanding in talking to Manager Weir that we have identified or hired a second person to work with Josh, and the hope is to have both slash trucks running. Chief Vance, is that your understanding as well? I just want to make sure I'm getting the same information from both directions.
Yes, I believe that is an understanding, but as Josh mentioned today, right now, just because we don't have everything operational, we're gonna do our best to have that person maintain the yard and maintain operations at the yard while Josh is able to be out on the streets. Before he had that assistant position, he was having to do both at the same time, so a lot of the slash permits and things that required his presence at the yard were pulling away from time that he could be out on the truck gathering slash. So I do expect efficiency to increase significantly. I don't know that that necessarily translates to both trucks picking up slash at all times during the day. We do also have a issue with one of the grapples not closing completely and not able to pick up slash efficiently. So he's out doing that with the single truck that we have that is working. So I do think the end effect would be that we're gonna be able to be much more efficient, but not necessarily have both trucks operating 24/7, if you will.
Okay,
Question.
thank you.
The backlog of old slash that's in the pit, are we going to try to pile burn some of that? Or have we decided that we're gonna bring in outside contracting?
I'm gonna defer to Josh to handle that. He's coordinating.
So what the plan with me and Captain Romo is right now I'm trying to move slash away from our Mobart chipper that we have down there. So we can potentially do a big pile burn this winter. We're gonna request probably at least 3 feet of snow on the ground when we do it. But for right now, that's what we're trying to focus on, working to get all the slash away from that chipper and probably make 2 piles rather than just the one big one and stuff like that to mitigate heat and smoke and all that good stuff, so.
As opposed to hiring the, what is it called?
Hogzilla,
Hogzilla,
Universal.
yes. Okay,
Yeah,
Jake, could you comment on what the discussion is? Certainly maybe not finalized on having a tub grinder come in.
So I have reached back out to Universal Waste. We're trying to get RFP documents together. We think there's 3 or 4 interested parties if we go out for RFP to do the tub grinding. I would love if the Wildland team can come up with an alternate plan. This is the first time hearing of that. So if that works, great. If not, that's fine. We are still moving ahead with trying to get an RFP together for tub grinding services. So I guess it's kind of whoever gets to the pile and gets rid of it first, as far as I can tell.
Okay, so that would leave us with no backlog going into the winter, if you will.
Correct.
There's other advantages to putting out an RFP in terms of getting interested parties to collaborate with the village for future pile issues. So, burning, obviously you guys got to do what you got to do, but there's a strategic play in putting out an RFP for this initial pile handling, because that way you can, test these people and see if you can establish a good relationship with them. And then they might be able to help with the Wood Innovations Grant proposal and implementation. So just don't forget about that opportunity for utilizing an RFP as a strategic play to get interest in working with you guys in the future with all of the material that's going to be generated with the $20 million that Rick Smith has. So I just want to put that out there as something to consider.
Yes. Okay.
but the question was, the material that's in the pit has no economic value. It's too dry, so destroying it at less cost by burning it seems to make more sense.
Yes.
And then when we have green material that, what do we call it? Tub, I guess.
Tub grinder.
Tub grinder. Logzilla, or, yeah, that would make sense.
Thank you.
Where is all the green waste coming from? The green slash?
right now,
Yeah,
coming off the mountain, but we're able to eliminate it right away. We've been.
I know that.
What's that?
I know that, but is it people trimming trees, or
Yes,
is
sir.
it
Yes,
new
Yes.
construction clearing
It's,
lots?
it's both. You have homeowners that are trying to fall in line with the OS level or whatever number you talk about, but they're trying to do all their work that they can. They'll cut a few trees down. They focus a lot on the, not so much deads and down, but the dry stuff that's on the ground and stuff like that, they haul to us. But most of the contractors are the ones that are bringing in the green stuff, because they're cutting the trees down and they don't want nothing to do with it, so they just haul it to us. And
Okay.
as far as new construction.
You're gonna
goes,
pick
well,
up the dead slash that is piled out.
yes.
Yes, so, the way it works is the homeowner, when they're ready, they'll request a pickup. And when they're done, they'll call station 1 and speak to our admin, and then she makes a list for me and I work that list down.
And as he's working on that list, and if he sees a pile alongside of the road that is along the route that he's on, and he has room to fit in his truck, he's picking that up.
That's a great idea, because there
Yeah.
are a lot of piles out that were put out by homeowners,
Yes, sir.
but they don't know how to, get it picked up from there.
Yes, sir.
I had a homeowner that called me and he said, what do? I want to trim up my trees. I want to go, and I said, here's what you do. You go here, 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 call here, get it done, set it out, put it out by the street, and they'll pick it up. And they'll give you a permit. He said, okay, and that's what I tell all my homeowners.
Good.
Yeah, I do believe that there are a fair number of piles that were requested in previous years that they had put them out, and maybe they got a permit during that time, and they have fallen by the wayside, so. Some of those things, if they go too long, I would just ask that if it's been a couple of years and they weren't picked up, that they just resubmit a permit for that.
Okay,
Understanding that if there's any trash in that or stumps, that makes it more difficult. If he does come across a pile along his route and there are stumps or things in there that he can't handle with a grapple, sometimes he will bypass those because he's not able to handle them with the current equipment.
okay.
Vicky, you said, told your neighbor, do this, and that.
Yeah,
Do-
follow.
Yeah,
those.
do we have that written down
Yes, it's
and
through
posted somewhere?
But some of my people are vacation people
Yeah.
and they don't.
No, I
you know.
understand. What I'm saying is how do we get, are we effective in getting that information that you gave to your neighbor?
we need more education.
Right, but how are we, where does that live?
I know it's
Do
on
we
the
have-
bulletin board, and I think it's online, isn't the,
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
online.
That's what I'm asking.
Just
Is
go to
it-
the slash program,
So-
and then it'll break it
So
down
all
for
of the
you.
steps
You
are
have to
right
do it.
there.
Yes.
So if, Vicky doesn't have enough time, or I don't have enough time to go through all the steps. Go to the village website, go to the slash program, everything you need is right there.
And if there's
Okay.
nothing, if there's something that isn't on it, you can look on the slash program as well, the permit is on there. And that gives you all the extra
Everything.
info, it tells you exactly what you need to do, what step to follow, what numbers to call. So
Okay,
you,
great.
the permit is probably the best explanation I could give you, cause it tells you do's,
The
don'ts,
permit
what to
itself.
put, what don't put.
And that's
How to-
easily, you can find that, no problem on the website.
Yes, sir. We
Okay.
have a lot of people that print them out and then they'll come to us to get a signature.
Yeah.
Cause it does need a signature from a village employee.
Right,
And then after that, they go about their way and start making the slash, and then they'll call us in or they'll haul it to Fire Station 3 and things like that.
okay, sounds good. And then just the follow-up on that, you guys had mentioned that we're gonna be sort of efficient by, if you see some piles on your route and you have the room and the time,
Mhm.
you're gonna try to pick them up.
So the way I'm doing it right now, I'm working off the slash list for the new stuff. But
Right.
if I see a pile, I can tell if it's been sitting there
Yeah.
a year, 2 years. I'm picking it up right away and I'm not just gonna leave it there and go to the next house. Cause the way the list is broken up too, it's hard. I could be at the top of this mountain and then
Yeah.
number 2's at the top of this one.
Right,
So what I'm focusing on is starting at the top, working the road completely down. And if it's on the list, it's on the list. If it's not, it was previous slash, so.
okay, so that's my point. So on the previous slash, maybe we are not out there publicizing this because we want people to comply with the procedures, right? But if you, like you said, if you see a pile, it's pretty easy to determine if it's been there quite a
Oh,
while.
yeah.
And you're gonna grab it,
Yeah,
but the aim is to get everybody to go through the permitting process and that kind of thing. But for
I
the
don't feel like it's right that the people previous years, their
Yeah.
slash left out, because when we took over the program, I wanna do the best I can for the community.
Yeah.
They did their part 2-3 years ago.
Right.
We took over a year and a half ago, so I feel it's our responsibility to pick that slash up, get it off
Right.
the mountain,
Right.
eliminate the fire hazard and all that good stuff.
Great. Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, are we finished with agenda item A?
We're
Yeah.
finished.
Okay, agenda item B, hiring an ambassador coordinator. So we have our infamous Terry McClendon, HR director, going to give us a report on where we stand on candidates that have applied, interviewed, and where we are with hiring process. So thank you, Terry.
Hi, everybody. It's actually Tammy. Sorry, Mike.
I'm sorry, Tammy, not Terry.
That's okay. That's okay. So we have 5 applicants, and they're very good applicants that we are waiting to start interviews with. We're going to get with Chief Vance, and we'll be discussing the time that we're going to start these interviews. So hopefully we can get somebody in pretty quick.
Outstanding.
Great.
Quick is a good word. I like quick.
Now, who will this person work for?
The fire department, Chief Vance is going to be, he'll be the supervisor of this person.
Okay,
Okay, and we have the salary approved For 1 year?
Yes.
The grant is for 1 year from when they start, even though, you know, it was approved earlier. So what the grantor has told us is once we've, you know, done the 1 year with the correct reports and we are doing what we said we were going to do, that there is a high likelihood that it'll be approved for a second year, but, you know, no guarantees, I guess. Okay. Okay, item number C, discussion on working group meetings on the defensible space ordinance. There's been two. And I'd like to turn this, you know, discussion over, since she was taking all the minutes and updates, to our secretary, Martha. Give us an update on that, where we ended up after the last meeting.
Well, we now have a draft 3. And we are, that has been sent out to everyone. We removed any sort of penalties from this draft. I think it's pretty close to going to council and a legal look to see what's next. I'm not sure there's a whole lot more that we can do with this. So it's ready.
I mean, at this point, I don't know if people have read it, but, you know, I mean, the question for us is, if there's nothing more that we can do, are we ready to, again, turn it over to the council and attorneys or whomever that needs to, you know, add their recommendations, changes, or whatever?
Should it go to the attorneys first before it
I
goes to the
have
council?
read it. And there's one thing in it that I would prohibit me from ever voting for it. And that's the slash of the crowns touching. And the 45 or 40 trees per lot minimum. Maximum.
Maximum, that's maximum.
40 trees per acre. How do you spell maximum?
If
M-I-N-I-M-U-N.
if you read draft 3, Don,
I have,
draft 3, there's a note here saying, this isn't for us to determine. This is, all we're doing is providing something for those who are more in the know. We don't know what that 40 trees, we don't know what that would be for our region. This is Ruidoso region.
okay,
So we're looking for somebody to change that, or to look at that and say, no, up here, that doesn't apply.
okay, that takes care of that, but what about the crowns touching?
So the agenda item is a discussion on the working group meetings, not the ordinance itself or revisions to the ordinance itself. So we probably ought to stick to the agenda. Again, I'll reiterate, we need to have village council now they have hired their attorney. We got to get them involved as soon as possible. But yeah, I don't think we can actually go into revisions.
We can't.
Given
It's
the way
not
it's
ours
on
to
the
do.
agenda. Yeah.
So
This is not-
I'd like to see if anyone would make a motion that we're at a point where we can vote on turning this over, as Mark just mentioned, to the council.
I make a motion, I make a
Not-
motion to turn it over to the
Not ours.
council and their attorney.
And I second that motion, because it's not ours to do the rest of this.
No.
It's legal counsel, and it's our village council. We can't do this.
As long as it gets to an attorney.
Yes.
So our job on this committee is to make a recommendation
Right,
to
yes.
council.
Yes.
And I don't think we're anywhere near that right now. So I would vote no, but I'm just one vote.
Why do
Why are
you
we not-
think we're not ready?
Again, I don't think that the,
Well,
the
I'm
ord-
another no vote, so.
I don't think the ordinance is anywhere near.
So do we need to have another working session to continue
Yeah,
that
we're not-
discussion?
There's a motion, we can go
We're
ahead and
not
vote.
legislators.
That's fine. Yeah.
All we
No,
do
I've pointed
is
that out
talk
many
something
times.
to them.
Well, what he's saying is we need to review it again. Is that right?
Yeah, agreed. And that's what I thought that this discussion on working group meetings was going to also involve, we don't have to send it to council to get the attorneys, the new attorneys for the council to engage. on this.
Okay, can we
And so,
send it to the
I mean, I think that's
attorneys first?
I think that's a discussion that needs to happen with Manager Weir, perhaps the mayor, perhaps the entire council. It's up to them what they spend their attorney's fees on. But I think something as important as an ordinance ought to have village council, their involvement prior to the committee saying, here, council is our best version of the DSO, and we suggest you adopt it.
But
because-
they have to do that. We don't do
I'm
that.
sorry.
I don't see how we are the ones who make those decisions that this is the best draft. We went through and we looked at this, we made some suggestions, but it is not our place to take this to legal counsel, as you have said. This is our village council's place. So I wanted us to be able to take this, hand it over. We've done our work. Now hand it over and let the
Right, but
people.
there's a difference between handing it over to council and then handing it over with this committee's recommendation. And and that's what I'm saying. As a committee, our job is to provide a recommendation to council. And I think that's premature. That's all I'm saying. Obviously, everybody knows we've done a lot of good work on it yet, but I just don't think we're at the point where we say, council, here's the version. And that's my understanding is that's what we've been tasked with. I would like to involve village council sooner rather than later.
Okay,
And
When?
Could I interject for just a second? I want to say I agree with both of you. I think you're both trying to get to the same point. Since our last working session, I have gone through this document entirely myself and with Manager Weir and with Mayor Lindsay. I don't think this is ready for a full council vote. I think it still needs some more work and some revisions. I also think, if I could, I also think we have, a new fire chief sitting in the room. We're looking to hire on very quickly, that we're ready to get some input here. And I think probably the right place for it to go first is to a council work session. There have been some concerns brought up outside of you all. Again, this is nothing I'm looking to have you guys addressed today, but one of the concerns that we've been having this summer is we've been getting much heavier rains than typical, and we're getting a lot of wash off into the bar ditches from lots that are having active construction on them right now. So one of the concerns is the ability to do some type of chipping or soil erosion mitigation on lots that are going to experience thinning. So I think there's input coming from Public Works, input coming from the new fire chief. I think if this committee wanted to recommend something, it would not be recommending it going to a council meeting, but rather to a council work session where
Yes.
all of the council members can give public comment on it without it being in a vote.
Yeah,
So
okay. I agree with that.
I agree also.
That's
I agree
exactly
too.
what we want to do.
I agree with that proposal as well.
Okay, so there was a motion technically that
Technically.
I don't know who made the motion.
Well,
Needs-
Can
needs to
do
be-
we have a motion to send this to a council work session?
yes, I make a motion that we send this to a council work session for them to put their input on it.
Second?
Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
one more point of order on that. Is Rocky Lira in the room with you all or no?
No.
Not right now.
Yes.
Oh,
There is
yes?
Where's Rocky?
there is there's a new form that Rocky is using for anything that is getting elevated from any committee to either legal work session or council meetings for a vote. I will have Rocky get a copy of the form to the chair and secretary of this committee. We'll need that form filled out with this recommendation specifically to have this sent to a work session. But I will get that document to you all.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at that point, let's move to the last agenda item, and I'll ask Naomi to give a summary as she started on the Wood Innovations grant opportunities. This, as she'll probably say, is a very large in scope, but there are different pieces, and we've selected through discussions one of those pieces. So Naomi, could you tell us where we are at that point?
Hi, yeah, sure. So, as I mentioned, you guys got to hear Grace Sorensen discuss the multiple grant opportunities that are currently available through Bill and IRA funding that's going down through the USDA, the Forest Service, is administering those funds. We all determined that the most appropriate opportunity is called the Wood Innovation Grant. Its abbreviation is WIG, W-I-G. I have produced a kind of draft 2-page document as an overview. I'm not sure if you guys have that or not. Rocky, I think you.
We don't. Really? No, we don't have it.
We lost you, Naomi.
She froze.
Naomi, you're frozen if you can hear us.
Good.
I tried to slap me.
You're gonna have to read.
Mike, do we still have you?
While